Joining me now, the Chief Counsel at the American Center for Law and Justice. Look who's here, Jay Sekulow. Jay, good to see you. What did you think of the Attorney General's testimony?
I thought Jeff Sessions did an incredible job. I mean, I thought it was clear, it was concise. He said he was not going to disclose confidential communications that he had with the President of the United States, which is longstanding Department of Justice protocol. You compare that to James Comey, who not only shared it, but leaked it to the New York Times. I mean, this is like the tale of two professionals, and one's playing by the rules and the other one's not. And I think James Comey's raised very serious issues for himself legally. He keeps saying this was his material, by the way. James Comey made that line when he testified earlier in the week. But here's the reality. This was not James Comey's material. He did this on an FBI computer and an FBI vehicle and stored it in his FBI desk. This is the government's property that he converted. And I think that the differential between Jeff Sessions and James Comey here is telling.
You know, Jay, to your point, Comey leaked to clear his name. James Comey leaked to clear his own name. He didn't leak to clear Donald Trump's name, noting that Donald Trump is not personally under investigation. Why didn't Jim Comey give his memo to Senate or House Intelligence committees instead of having it leaked via professor to the media?
Yeah, well, you asked Liz, I mean, that is the question. Why didn't he? Well, because he was trying to draw a special counsel. He acknowledged that. And look, I'm one of the lawyers for President Trump. So I look at this and say, I'm looking at this from a legal standpoint and saying, how in the world is this possible that this is okay? That the leak of that information is not being investigated right now by the FBI. I don't know if the special counsel can do it, whether it's in his mandate or not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But it certainly warrants an investigation clearly by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Department of Justice.
You know, Jay, it sets a standard for the 12,000 people who work at the FBI that it's okay to leak. Go ahead.
Well, could you imagine if this was an FBI agent who then, when he resigned from the FBI, decided to leak his communications that he had with a witness involving a bank robbery?
Yeah.
Would we think that's okay? Of course not.
Right.
And this is much worse. This was the President of the United States.
All right,
that's who he was talking to, allegedly.
We got to get back to Jeff Sessions, because this idea that Jeff Sessions recused himself into the Russian probe because he was personally, he had some connection to Russia. Jeff Sessions saying, wait a second, the media, everybody out there, you got that one wrong too. Watch what Jeff Sessions says here.
I recuse myself not because of any asserted wrongdoing or any belief that I may have been involved in any wrongdoing in the campaign, but because a Department of Justice regulation.
He recused himself because of regulations, he says. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jeff Sessions is telling the truth. He said he didn't have any inappropriate contact with Russian officials on any substantive matter. I mean, Washington, D.C., I mean, this is, you know, I practiced law there for a long time. I mean, you look at this and you say to yourself, why in the world is this a constitutional showdown between the Article I powers and the Article II powers, and maybe the courts get involved in its Article III and the entire Constitution? What is this? This has been investigated for 9 months. We know 3 things out of this investigation. The President was not and never has been a subject of the investigation. Number 2, James Comey said in his written testimony that the President did not try to obstruct the probe into Russia. And number 3, that James Comey's the leaker. I mean, that's where this is after 9 or 10 months of investigation, and now we've got a special counsel. So that's what James Comey wanted. That's what he got, and he better hope it doesn't turn on himself. Before
we get to the soundbite with Ron Wyden getting really angry, can you please clear up this story that Chris Ruddy is saying, speculating, that the President wanted to fire Robert Mueller, the special counsel? Apparently, somehow you are the source of this kind of a conversation.
No,
can you clear what is going on here?
Well, I don't know. You know, Chris said he watched my interview on ABC News where I said exactly what Rod Rosenstein said today. That's speculation. The President would have to consult with his lawyers if there was ever an issue of impropriety. There are rules and regulations in place on that. And how Chris interpreted that into a statement about the actual President desiring to fire Robert Mueller is not correct. So he either misunderstood or was just flat out wrong, or both.
That's a media headline. I mean, we've had a day of the media saying that the President wanted to fire the special counsel, Robert Mueller.
Yeah, that's
but
not
it's totally
true.
wrong.
I mean, and of course, I never said that, nor did anybody else. So I can't. Look, I don't know what Chris exactly said. But I will tell you this, that's not the position of the legal team. Is they're going to review. Look, we're lawyers. You handle the case in due course. If issues arise, you raise issues. That's how cases go. But again, one thing's clear right now: the President is not the target of any of this. And it's unfortunate that Chris said that yesterday, but the White House clarified that last night. That was not true.
Hypotheticals are not facts. Opinions are not facts. Thoughts are not facts. All right, let's move on. Ron Wyden got really angry today. I like your reaction to Ron Wyden. Watch.
Okay.
Mr. Comey said that there were matters with respect to the recusal that were problematic and he couldn't talk about them. What are they?
Why don't you tell me? There are none, Senator Wyden. There are none. I can tell you that for absolute certainty. This is a secret innuendo being leaked out there about me, and I don't appreciate it. And I've tried to give my best and truthful answers to any committee I've appeared before, and it's really people are suggesting through innuendo that I have been not honest about matters, and I've tried to be honest.
Quick thoughts, Jay. We're going to break soon. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, here's the quick thought. It was James Comey who said he only learned about the recusal without a memorandum or any explanation. And then the Department of Justice, the day that he testified, said that's not true. There was a memorandum issued on March 2nd. It was addressed to James Comey. He may not have read it. It was sent to him explaining the recusal. So James Comey's had a history of having to correct his testimony. He's not exactly a credible witness.
Jay Sekulow, good to see you. Come back soon.